Hello everyone, welcome back to Chat with Ade. This is your host, Ade Tiladende. Today I will be having my guest, a good friend of mine, Christyna Grant. She's also a human rights activist, a mental health activist, a motivational speaker who shares fundamental truths about her region, Peel. That's her. Elite Miss Brampton also is the title she carries. And we're going to be talking about the process of being a confident, diverse woman in the 20th century. So stay tuned. Enjoy. So I'm going to be welcoming my dear friend, Christyna Grant. She's also Miss Elite.
That's correct.
Miss Elite Brampton. Woo! You guys, I think I won that title too. I need to work on that. That's for sure. She's gonna tell me how I can also get some kind of title, because I look at that crown. I want a crown too. Oh boy.
Hi, how's it going? I'm Christyna, Elite Miss Brampton. I am so excited to be here. Definitely to give you that little spiel, that little gem that you're looking for. I'm here with Ade, and let's get right into it.
Yes. I won't even call her Miss Christyna anymore. Miss Elite.
Oh, I like that title of Miss Elite.
Miss Elite. Miss Elite. All right. So definitely, it's nice to have you here. And by the way, you guys, we are in Bramley
City Center. Come on down. There's so much gems always happening. I mean, this is the place to be. You have people walking around. We have people that are always watching the show. Okay, the show must go on.
Yes.
So come on down. Feel free. Actually, today's Saturday. Right now, live. Come on down.
Come. You guys. Maybe this is my second or third time in the small, and every time I come in here, it does not disappoint. It's always quite busy, and there's always so many things, so many stores, so many diversity, and I think that's the thing that gets me. Is the diversity in the small.
Yes. Woo. It has a lot of equality. Moral standing here is to the highest degree. We have integral businesses here, and you know what? Brampton is just blooming. I've been watching the infrastructure for the last 2 years, and to tell you the truth, I don't think I'm ever going to leave here. I am at a point where I want to just put my seeds of foundation here, and I just want to be a part of the process.
Wow. Yes, Brampton. How long have you been in Brampton?
So I've been raised in Brampton about 7 years now. When I first came here, I'm not gonna lie, I had anxiety.
Wow.
I had so much anxiety, mainly because there wasn't a lot of people on the road. The multiculturalism wasn't really here. It was very stagnant. Neighbors were very nice.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie about that. Neighbors were really nice. Very, I'm not gonna say nosy, just inquisitive.
You know what that means,
right? They were bringing pies to our home, so I mean, they've still kept it sweet and nice. But I'm not gonna lie, I was from Toronto, and being in that region, it's so fast paced. So coming out here, I'm telling you, I was so nervous. I'm like, why is there no yelling? Why is nobody knocking your door? Where's the next person? I was terrified. And so when I moved here in Brampton, I immersed into the culture, and the culture literally is blooming. You have every culture out here in Brampton. Yes. You have Chinese, you have sign language, you have African, different variants of Africans out here. You have Jamaicans, West Indians. You have it all. You name it, it's here. One of the things that I love about Brampton, and why I maybe have been staying here for so long, is because I just love the warmth. Even if you're Indian, doesn't matter what multicultural you come from, we are all one. The unity is really evident out here.
Wow. You guys, are you listening? Brampton, I guess maybe that's where we're all buying houses next.
Maybe.
Well, like I really hope they freeze the property tax because we had that for the pandemic. Let's keep it that way.
Let's keep it, please. It's going sky roof off.
We
the
don't
roof.
need that extra 7%. No, thank you.
Thank you. Did you get that? So now let me ask you, what even made you decide to go for this title, or just to be in the community like that in Brampton? What pushed you?
Well, as a child, I've always wanted to serve. I didn't know what element of wanting to serve and what that even looked like, what that foundation was. I had some bumps in the roads, and I was saying to myself, what can I do? What can I do to service my community, but not only service it in a way where it's just for myself and just my main region, but how can I duplicate this so that it could push out to other regions? So that's where the love came from. Secondly, love for people and justice. Being a human rights activist, I have always looked for the most fairest way that you can let me see, with our laws, like what is the fairest ways for either the indigenous population, for the African population? Are we all living in unity? And when we come from that standpoint, that's pretty much where my mission and my vision comes from.
Wow. That's a lot. Because it's not easy.
It's
to
not
be out
easy.
there in the community.
It's not easy, but it actually comes with a love. If you have a love for people, you have a love for serving, you have a love for community building and literally putting that glue together, this is the place you want to be. So with that alone is why I actually went into the pageant. I went in with the pageant because I said, you know what? How can I, Christyna Grant, make a difference? I didn't know which way to go, to tell you the truth. I do love beauty. I do love confidence, confidence building. That was my number one thing that I used to do as a social worker, was I used to motivate a lot of people with confidence building. So I said, since I have all of these talents, why can I not put the puzzles together? And what does the puzzles look like? And how do we define that process through those puzzles? So I realized it was confidence. I had to build my confidence. Confidence was something that took me literally like 5 years to build. I came from an area where I was just like, should I do that? Or should I go down that path? Should I listen to that person? Is that the right way? But then I had to really mold into my own self, my own woman.
Wow.
It took so long, but I'm happy that I every day get the chance to restart, reset, rechange habits that don't serve me or that serve me now.
Wow. Well said. There's a lot packed into that last statement. A lot. But before I dive into another question, one of the things you said is as a social worker. So besides this community work that you do voluntarily,
Yes.
what do you do that pretty much pays your bills?
Oh wow. So there's a series of stuff. So for one, my background is social work. I've been doing that for over, I'm gonna say I'm a pioneer in this area because dealing with social work is something that everyone's dealing with on a regular basis. I could say that we are all social workers, to tell you the truth. But with my practice, I've been doing it for, I'm going to say about 15 years plus. And through that, I had to really understand the human nature and how they think and what makes them tick and what makes them feel, okay, you know what, this is not where I want to be in my life, and I need a development processor. Okay, so that's pretty much what I've been doing for my time frame of how I've been paying my bills. And my family actually owns a marketing business, so I've been kind of glued into that area of that. And what made it so interesting is that I said to myself, okay, since I've been doing marketing for so long and been helping my family, why don't I now incorporate marketing and social work together? So I started doing bits and pieces. I love selling products. You can sell anything under the umbrella of marketing. And especially right now when we're dealing with a time where people are they're trying to get their mental stability back. Marketing with mental the subject of mental health would be very prominent to actually exercise right now.
Okay, so yeah, we're talking about marketing, family business, and your day-to-day social work. How did you merge that?
How do I emerge? Yes. So going back to that, so because of my experience with social work, I understand how people think. I understand the processes of executing change, and that took time. That took literally 5 years. We're gonna say of observing human behavior. 2 years was in school for having the academic background, but then we have now the people skills. So it all has a process. Now marketing is the same way. With the marketing of my family, I've had the ability to always understand that everything is a market. Okay, everything we are selling, everything. Okay, not only that, I've incorporated that mindset with the social work mindset. So now I understand that now in these times, yeah, within the pandemic, it was a little off.
Yeah.
Okay. But yes, we're looking at people with the mental health instability, but we're also looking at the fact that how can we market that too? Because mental health needs to be at the forefront. It is a necessary area where people are still putting it under the dimensions or elements of being stigmatized. This is an area that every single person, doesn't matter who you are, richest person, poorest person, queen, king, everybody has a moment in their life where they suffer from some kind of mental health.
Yes.
And I'm so happy that every single time when I get into this area of talking about mental health, that I have my 15 seconds of shame, not shame, but fame. I have my 15 seconds to explain how it's so important. How it's so important to send positive energy, positive affirmations to someone you didn't even talk to for maybe 15 years. Who knows? Hey, how you doing? Just sending it there, because our world is so small,
Yeah.
and everyone is so connected that we just want everyone to be okay.
Wow, that's well said. We'll be right back. Wow, you guys loaded. Know what that is? My goodness. Wow. Okay, let's talk about mental health.
Okay.
You know, definitely with us brown skinned people, we try to put it under the rug. We try not to own it because we see it as it's a negative thing. We don't want to be associated with that. Although we are experiencing it, and not forgetting the fact that we've left where we were born, or where we've neutralized as our home, back home, and then you come here where it's right in your face. You're not fully accepted as a person because of the color of your skin. Right there alone is enough to deal with a mental issue. Talk less of other elements in life. So, what would you say are one of the best ways? And of course, having in mind you're coming from a marketing background, what are the things that needs to be projected out there to make it a bit more normalized for us brown skinned people to accept that it is okay to admit that you're going through a mental breakdown and you need to seek help?
Well, you threw in a few things there, so
I know.
let's start with the first one. So when we're talking about, just race, culture, all those different elements, it gets into a sticky conversation because there are so many perspectives, right? But what I will say here is my background, I have been around a lot of multicultural individuals, and my mindset for so long, and still is the same way, which is we are all unified. So if there is an issue where the color of my skin, I really try in any interactions that I have, that I don't go from that standpoint, that the color of my skin is what determines yay or nay. I don't go from that. And I refuse to have that mentality because I feel like it's crippling, right? So how I look at things here is by your educational standpoint. How do you project yourself? How do others see you in the limelight? And I think that's where it's very important, because when you're an educated individual, you understand the dynamics. You understand the playing fields, the maps, the blueprints, right?
Yeah.
And so now you know how to address things accordingly. For myself, most of my friends were mixed. And as mixed individuals, that's a whole different area, because they don't know where to even put themselves. And those conversations, I mean, I would sit down with them for hours and they would be like, I don't know who to associate with. And for years I'd be like, what are they talking about? They're accepted. But then I had to start looking at it from their lenses that no, actually they also go through it too. Everybody goes through things. Doesn't matter if it's your color of your skin. It doesn't matter if it's your background or whatnot. Everybody's going through it.
Wow, well said. How are you doing? Welcome back. And I'm sure you noticed that our scenery has changed yesterday. And the explanation will be happening in the inbox, in the chat box. But we definitely had to do a change of scenery. And that's life, right?
And the show must always begin and keep going on.
That's what it's all about. So yes, let me welcome you again back to Chat with Ade, and here my guest, Christyna Grant.
Hey.
Not just Christyna Grant, Miss Elite.
That's correct. Elite.
Elite.
Miss Brampton.
Miss Brampton. Not even Miss Elite. Elite Miss Brampton. You have to say it properly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So we talked about a couple of things, of course, when it comes to your background, how you got into, becoming Miss Elite, having the crown, and taking on that mantle.
Well, actually, we didn't talk too much about how I started off with my crown. We started off with the process, but the actual crown itself, I was able to go and speak in front of, I believe it was 200 people. And I talked about my platform on what I want moving forward for Brampton. That could be, for instance, just having more unity, more multiculturalism. That could be just having more of a sense of service to the population, and how can we service people's needs, because it's voting season. I mean, we're 5 days away, and we need people to get out to the voting polls and vote. And that's something that I'm pushing into that type of arena. So that's why maybe I won. Maybe I was able to let people know that I'm coming with public service and that I want to be a servant for all.
Well said. So now she's going to be telling us how we also can go for that pageant and be Miss something.
Yeah, so it's about defining your niche or whatever you want to do. So even that alone has its own process, because when you are an entrepreneur, you have so many talents, so many gifts, so you don't know which one to really pinpoint. When you finally pinpoint, one of the things that I noticed is my gift is I love to speak. I almost thought I was Oprah. I was going to become Oprah when I was a kid. I used to have all my dolls around. So my defining mark is I love people. So now how can I group my talents with that? So that meant, okay, how can I resonate with people? So you want to do that. You want to find ways to resonate with your population or your niche or whoever your targeted audience is. Second, you would want to get into maybe those kind of areas, like who you can learn from. So that would be mentors. Mentors would be your next checkbox, because you need to make sure that you are in alignment to that goal. And then also financially, how can you financially support this actual goal? Because we all have goals throughout our entire life. We transition so many times, right? And our goals get better and more expensive. So we got to figure out how we're going to supply that those goals there. And then once we define all of those niche, then we ask for the masses to support that vision. And so, like I said, today for myself, I envision myself down the line eventually being in that platform where I will be telling people about what I want to change. And that could be property tax. That could be, just making sure that everybody has equality when it comes to food banks. Like, not a lot of people are speaking about food banks, but we don't want to get rid of them. We want to enhance the quality, things like that. So, whatever you feel that you can bring some kind of public service, it is a volunteer, it's on a volunteer basis. So you have to come from that love. That love is so important. If you're coming here thinking that there's some grand gesture, listen, it's not the place to be. It's about really providing your quality time in exchange for public service.
Well said. And that is not for everybody. I'll tell you that.
I'll take it.
It's not for everybody. Some people are just looking for money. If there's no money, they have no business there. So, but we understand everyone can't be the same. We can't all be equal. We have to have those who are not just spending, but those who are giving, right? So there has to be an equality, a balance somewhere. So well said. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Now let's go back into that mental.
The mental health?
Yeah, that we're talking about earlier. How, like I mentioned, I know I had a lot of questions in one, but how can the masses or the media, the marketing sectors, how can we project it out there more so that people see that it's okay to own it, it's okay to understand that you are dealing with a mental crisis and you need to seek help? How can we make that a norm?
Okay, very good question. So during the pandemic, those 2 years, a lot of people went through ups and lows, and I'm going to put myself into that bracket as well. Time, space, gravity, whatever you want to call it, it went on hold. And it was so fearful for everyone. People were killing themselves. People were not seeking help. You can see that the drug use, everything, all these different elements were going up. And it's not to say that people weren't helping. It's just, how did they define to assist? Because if no one's speaking about it, then how can we assist? So where does the media come in? Well, the media has improved. We're going to say through research, geographically, I see the actual improvements. The improvements stem from, one, we're starting to see in the forefront that they're having multicultural coming out. I don't know if you notice in commercials a day, you're seeing like there's now Black women that are now having the forefront where they're talking. So they're having, like in the Bell commercial, there's one that was talking about mental health. There's another one for IKEA. I've seen an IKEA commercial where the mother was overly bombarded with her children and had a mental breakdown, but then it was safe because she used IKEA's products and IKEA just helped her to feel better. So these are the different elements, and how the media is starting to recognize that, yeah, maybe different cultures need some form of support. Non-for-profit organizations are coming out. They are helping more. And you know what? It takes segments just like what we're doing right now to identify the crisis and how we can help. And for myself, I'm doing it right now. I'm doing that one-on-one counseling session. That's one of my expertise. I've been doing that for years, where I do that one-on-one counseling, and we kind of dissect. How I do this is we dissect the root issue, not from childhood. We dissect it from right presently now. How your mindset is in this right now session. So does that mean within the next 15, 20 minutes, are you sitting here on negative, like affirmations, negative mental capacity or beliefs? Or are you looking for ways to combat those feelings? And so it takes practice. Just like your brain had to grow. It's an organ. It had to have repetition just to get there. It's the same thing with mental health. Mental health, when you don't take care of it, when you don't sleep, when you don't eat well, when you take on too much responsibility that you don't need to take on. Let me say that one more time. You take on too much responsibility that you don't need to take on. And that's where you plunder.
We're all guilty of that.
That's where you plunder. So, being a great leader, you have to learn how to develop balance. And even balance on its own is a masterpiece because every leader has a wife, or even if they don't, they have some kind of clique, or group organization that they're running, and it has relationships within that. And if your mental health is not there, you're not able to have good judgment. And why would anybody want to vote for someone like that? Or why would anyone want to support someone who doesn't take care of their mental capacity, or, their mental balance? So the media, going back to Aday's question, is we're seeing the media is changing. It's doing it at a slow pace. Most people would love it to be dramatic and a change that is just like that. But we have to understand that everyone has a different process, and this is our process. As a diverse woman, I talk about, I'm just happy that we are finally being unified under that umbrella where indigenous people are starting to get it too. Chinese people, Indian people, it doesn't matter who it is. In Brampton, I'm seeing the multiculturalism. Let's keep it that way.
Yeah, well said. Well said, guys. Don't take more than you can handle. Easier said than done. But yes, put that down in your notebook. Oh wow. Okay, thank you so much on that. Now, like you said, as a diverse woman, as a young woman, we're still working with this patriotic system, and we know a lot of, should I say, a lot of institutions, a lot of movement has happened or has been happening when it comes to YouTube movement, when it comes to feminism, and all the stuff that has been, I think, is just scattered right now. And some people don't even know where they belong or what they should stand for or what they should, believe in. What would you say, as a young, diverse woman in this 21st century right now, what would you say would be one of the best things? I believe I know what it is, but I won't speak for everybody else, or I won't speak for you anyways. But what would you say would be one of the best things that we need to have to be able to march forward and to be able to, put our footprints on the ground as we move forward?
Confidence and education. Confidence is, I spoke about it earlier, how important it is to have. I run a campaign that's called Confidence Looks Good on You, and it's very important because it's the process of developing your inner strength. Have you ever thought of doing something and then you're saying to yourself, you may not execute that, and even if you execute it, it's not going to do anything. But when you have confidence, when you apply the word confidence to that same structure, that same sentence, right? It comes from a different element, because now the confidence meant that you had to, one, either put on that new armor, that new way of thinking. Two, it could be maybe you need to just get educated so you can have confidence to execute that. Three, it could mean just becoming a new, refreshed individual, having different lenses. So, it always boils down to confidence and education. Yeah.
Wow, well said. So yeah, I believe she was going to say confidence, but she added education, and education can be in different forms.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be primary, going to an institution, a school.
That's right.
Even life in itself is education. You just have to learn and grow.
Yes.
And then use what you've learned, what you've experienced for a betterment of yourself. So thank you so much. If anyone wants to reach out to you to gain more knowledge and just to understand how they also can probably, opt for that pageantry, how can they reach you?
Well, my platform is Just Let Christyna Speak, and the pageant is Official Brampton pageant. So feel free Friends, I welcome everyone. Everyone. You have any questions? You're living in the region of Peel. You have even questions you don't know who to talk to? Hey, I'm here. And on top of that, listen, Ade is the best, man. Like, she always got the tea.
That's our job. It's not easy, but that's our job.
That's right.
Yeah, so definitely, if you want to reach out to her,
So just ping me on Instagram, which is just let Christyna speak. You can also ping me through email. That's sgrant00@live.ca. And I look forward to getting to see who comes up with some kind of segment or even something that you want to share that you love from our talk show today.
yes,
Feel free.
please feel free to reach out. I'm definitely going to have her handles in the bottom there. But if you need someone to mentor,
Yes.
you need someone to mentor, someone to encourage, or you would also just love her to come and speak at any engagements that you're having for anything. But of course, I would think probably women or young teens or just any the community. You would want her to come speak.
Talk about emotional intelligence, like how important that is for our community,
Very,
right?
very important. So definitely reach out to her and try to get more diverse understanding of what maybe your community is going through and you don't know how to reach out to your community. She's definitely a go-to person for that. But hey, thank you so much again for joining us to chat with Ade. And thank you, my guest. Thank you so much for, believe me, you guys, getting this interview today as we're supposed to have done it since last
It's
month.
the best ever. Let me tell you that.
I'm not even, it's all adventure. It's fun.
I love it.
Yes, it's fun. We enjoyed putting this together for you guys today. But believe me, it was not easy. And as you can see, normally you would see me in one segment, one phase interview.
But we just had to be different.
Yes.
That's it.
And that's when life gives you orange or lemon. What do you make?
We make a tea,
Lemon tea, light lemon tea.
juice. We feed the community. Everybody is coming down.
So hey, you just gotta make it the best as you can, no matter what life throws at you. So thank you so much once again, you guys, for joining us. Chat with Ade. Don't forget to click the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share, and don't forget to comment below.
Hey. Bye, friends.
Bye.